Past 4 to 5 years have been a good one for me. I hope for some, or a lot of you out there too. Hopefully a tornado don't come by. That whole severe weather in the middle of America. Yeah, my state's right next to it. Probably thinking, why has it been such a good, few years for you? Well, that's because, or probably not thinking that, but that's because we had so much to talk about, honestly. Like, there's times where, like, I thought there'd be more story making, but honestly, there's been such crazy things happening, and you all know me. It's like I'm not gonna pick up a trend and go with that trend because 100 other people do it. That's not the way I am. But if it's something important that needs to be talked about, of course I'm going to talk about it. And sometimes I'm usually out of the first 20 people to talk about it. And sometimes I'm only part of that 20 people because there's only 20 people that's willing to talk about it, not scared. So, we talked about the planet recently, most recently. We talked about people before that, trolls and evil people like them. Or, uh-oh. What haven't we talked about yet? Not God. We have talked about God yet, actually. With this, all that up there, that blue stuff or black stuff, whatever you want to call it, scientists will probably call it dark matter, because the farther you get in space, which what we're going to be talking about in today's video, likely it is to run into that dark matter, which is very radioactive. At least I don't know. We don't know. We haven't even tested it yet. We never got close to it yet, personally to test it, but we know about it. Those things I find weird, honestly. Like, how do you know about something you never even seen before? How did they do that? That's science for you. See, they're working on that CERN particle collider, which is it's a giant circular tube. And you know those pool floaties with the tubes and you had the hole in the middle? You put water in them and blow them out? That's probably where they got the idea from. And you use them as water guns? Yeah, those, but connected into a giant circle. Inside that tube, there is particles, like little particles, very small, you can't even see them. But they're moving so fast that they grow twice the size. And they try to move them as fast as they can, round and round. And then when they get them to a certain point, to a certain speed, they try to make them collide with each other. And when they do this, it helps them get information, like it gets them numbers, so they can put the numbers into a chart or something, and they can tell what's out, or how the future, not how the past or how the planets were made to begin with, like the Big Bang Theory. That's what they're trying to figure out. And this is basically the same. It's like making a simulation of the Big Bang, but somehow with just the numbers alone, without the actual actions of it. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, the Big Bang with the dinosaurs, where the meteor struck the Earth and wiped out everything. They found out over basically the whole time we've been recording. But yeah, this whole time, 5 years, probably, no, I think longer than, well, no, it took them 10 years to build the thing, and then 5 years to work on it, but it cost so much money just to run it. All they could do was work on it for 5 years, because if they went any longer, they wouldn't have no money for the science after that. It's like, imagine you got all this new information, but you can't afford no new tools to work on it with, you know? That's what they had to think about. Um, they have it in Sweden, somewhere it's like in Sweden, half of it's in Sweden, and the other half of it is in Denmark, I think, next to Sweden. So it's underground. Yeah, giant tunnel system. And um, just last year or this year, they finally shut it down, which means they finished their work on it and they got their answers they needed. You'll see a lot of YouTube videos probably saying, "Oh, CERN, found out some crazy information." You probably already have been seeing them. I'm like, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but don't feed into what the conspiracy theorists are saying about it. Honestly, I can't understand it when it comes down to it. Like, the way I see it is a way that they describe how it works. Like I told you all, it's a bunch of particles that go around in a circle as fast as they can, and they collide, and from that collision, they get numbers out of it. Somehow the scientists do. I wouldn't get no numbers out of it. I'll look at it and be like, "Oh, that's a cool firework." That's all I would do. Like, "Oh, you no help all this time. Oh, you had one job." You're supposed to count how many explosions or whatever happened. That's probably what it is. Amount of explosions. Well, let's move up to space. Because we're not here to talk about the scientists. I talk about the space. But later in the video, we will be mentioning one, and one you all know, I'm for sure of. Worried to talk about him though. I don't want him to get paranoid and think, there's any hate against him. I love space. I love the idea he's making, you know. So, but the way he described it, I'm gonna tell you how I felt the way I was listening to his speech, and you'll see, like, yeah, I love space, but I don't love it that much. Alright. So, start off, Beetlejuice, they think it's gonna probably explode in the next decade. So, they're watching it non-stop. And it's interesting, I found out that, like, this ain't the first star to go, solar flare. No, that's not what it's called. Nova, supernova. That's what, not supernova, but nova. Supernova is like when the sun explodes. That's a big star exploding. That's when you get or I think it's when two stars explode together. That's when it causes supernova. Or I don't know, I think it could be a big star, I'm not sure. But I do know for sure it's nova, like when they explode. And basically what happens is the star explodes and it lets out this like northern lights kind of show in the space. And if the star is close enough to the planet, we'd be able to see it. The last star that exploded was far, so but if you use a telescope, no, I don't think so. I think only the scientists were able to see it because you had to use a high-powered telescope, It was that far away. Now, Beetlejuice isn't as far as that last star exploded away. But here's the thing. Beetlejuice is, I think, is bigger. Probably. I'm not really sure about that fact. But I do know Beetlejuice is one of the biggest stars in our solar system. Like the third biggest star. Or something like that. That in mind, that's pretty creepy to think about. Because it's a star. And it's going to be crazy to see, I think. Because it's a star it's a northern star. You look up at the giant shining star and that way is north. That star is going to explode. That's what's crazy to me. A star, that's been so used, going to be gone. And here's the cool thing, I think. It's like, for example, when that last star exploded that we seen, apparently it exploded like 1,000 years ago. And the fact that it was so far away from us, it caught it like that. that made it where it's like the vision for it. It took basically 10,000 years for us to be able to see the star exploding, and once we saw exploding, it was gone. There's nothing else because the star exploded 10,000 years ago, right? And then it took 10,000 years to like imagine a picture, all right, and it's far away. You can't see it from far away, but it gets closer and closer over time. It's like that because for some reason vision and from space it just works like that. So when Betelgeuse does explode, I'm pretty sure we'll see it instantly. But then again, I don't think so. We might not see it instantly. We might see it like happen like we might see it like happen out no I dang, probably half the time. Dang. So if it does explode, we're probably going to see it 50 to 100 years, honestly, or probably 25 years at least. But yeah, 50 to 100 years. Like once it explodes, only the scientists will probably be able to see it explode. Well, they're showing it on live stream too, because they know, like once it explodes, it's like it's gone. And then, but the thing is, it's gonna be up. It's not gonna be up in the sky, but we're eventually gonna see it, like like a wave coming at us. Basically, that's what it's gonna be. But a giant image of an awesome starlight show. That's gonna look like basically deep blue, purple space. My favorite color in the sky mixed with red. Oddly, like my last favorite color. I'm gonna get to see my favorite color. It's fair. I didn't get to see the eclipse. I keep missing it. I didn't get to see this and that. Let me at least see that. 50 to 100 years. I don't know if I'll make it 50 years. I should be able to. But you never know. Right now I could get struck by lightning. I hope not. Knock on wood. I don't want to knock on that wood. As soon as I said that, the rain starts. Okay, so that's not the only Space About news, okay? I know that's the stuff you all know. But this is some brand new stuff that just came out tonight. Alright. Here, I'm going to let you all guess it to help the Earth at the same time. So, try to guess this. Which bug on planet Earth you think is on a different planet right now? And actually a surviving species on? Which one? Have you guessed? Alright, now let me tell you, for you arachnophobes, you're not going to like this. Meaning people scared of spiders. Jumping spiders lived on Mars. Yeah. It makes sense to me. That makes total, like the more I think about it, I'm like, oh crap. I always thought, how are jumping spiders able to jump so highly? And then I saw that documentary. Spiders are able to like shoot a web and glide through the air with that. It's creepy because there's some places that you'll see 100 spiders doing this at once, and they're like mosquitoes but spiders flying on their webs that they're short shot out. Now that's what I thought. Maybe that's how those jumping spiders are doing this. I don't think so. I think maybe the jumping spiders actually probably came from Mars. When you think about it, Mars has a heavier density than Earth. So maybe they got like strength from that. Like how Goku trains in Dragon Ball Z. Just maybe. No. I was going to say maybe they brought them from Mars. But I don't think that's the case. I think what's the case is somehow, some way, the spiders were able to migrate to Mars. Jumping spiders. Saying that, I keep feeling stuff crawling on me. Talking about spiders. I'm not arachnophobe, but still, talking about bugs sucks to me. But yeah, jumping spiders on Mars. Here's some more interesting news about the sciences I was going to talk about. You all know. Elon Musk. Elon Musk has a plan to humanize or what you call it, civilization on Mars. He wants to put civilization on Mars. He also wants to put a moon base on Moon, so he can fill up on the moon. Like he can put gas on the moon, and then he can take his ships from Mars to the moon and fill up on the moon, like as if the moon's a giant gas station. Which I don't see as a bad idea. As long as it don't explode, can't worry about that, dude. Already, there's been reports of people shooting at the moon. You don't think you better put that stuff on the dark side of the moon is what I'm saying. They gonna shoot at it. Our Earth. Here's the funny thing I thought though. As he's giving the speech, he's like, "Yeah, we're like so close. We just need a little bit more money and a little bit more people to get involved with this. Not a lot more people to get involved with this because it's gonna take probably like 2 towns worth of people to start it off." But when he said, and they're all clapping for like the space shuttles being able to work and stuff, and all the trips he done already. And then halfway through the speech, he starts to get to the point where he's like, "All right." And then there's gonna be one day that you're gonna see it like in Starship or some Star Trek or some. I forgot what he described it as, but he's like, you're gonna see hundreds of my ships just go up in the sky into Mars, leaving Earth. I'm like, what? And you know what's funny? The people quit clapping then. I know why too, because those people paid money for a seat on that ship. I'm pretty sure they weren't thinking, oh, we'd have to go soon. And he's sitting there talking like it's going to be soon. Of course, he keeps reminding them, this ain't going to be a soon process. It might not even be in our lifetime. But still, it can happen. Let's see. Talked about that. But yeah, that was interesting, The people quit clapping because they're listening to his idea and realizing, well, that probably, like, if he really wanted to, he can make it happen with the next 50 years. But yeah, he said that he's not going to give up on Earth. Like, even though Elon Musk is going to move to Mars, if he could, he would still be focused on Earth and keeping trying to manage to try to figure out how this planet, would keep on turning. We got some really bad weather today. Nasty weather. But yeah, that's pretty much it with that. Let's see what I got with. But let me try to think. I mean, the last thing that I haven't talked about is the asteroids that are coming close to Earth. But I don't think, for some reason, I know it's weird to say because, like, what do I know, what does anyone know about asteroids? It's cool that you'll see all those, like, little dimples on the moon. That's because the moon was hit by, like, hundreds of asteroids throughout our lifetime. The moon has protected the Earth quite a few times against asteroids. Maybe not huge asteroids, but still, sometimes they were pretty decent ones. I think like 1 or 2 of them were pretty decent size. That could probably destroy a town if it did hit us. But the moon got it for us. It's like our little extra defense system. Man on the moon, right? I always thought that the scientists would try to make the Earth mobilize, like Elon Musk showed a picture of this, but he said that's what I'm gonna do after I get Mars set up. Like, dang, so that's not even like first it's gonna be the moon base, then it's gonna be getting people to Mars. Then it's going to have to be getting gas from the moon base. And then after that, they're going to come back and work on the Earth. And what they're planning to do is basically build some kind of electrical field around it, like a giant metal ring that goes around the Earth, and it's going to be like, or or I think it's going to be like probably not around the Earth, but I don't know, somehow like some like a rubber, like you know those hard wristbands, yeah, like that, but around the Earth, not touching Earth, you know, only the probably the solar system, not solar system, ecosystem. What do you call it? I forgot what the name of it's called. Ozone layer. That's what I'm thinking of. The ozone layer. It's probably just going to go around the ozone. Maybe not even touch the ozone layer, because that seems like it would be risky to mess with that. But that's basically what they want to do. They want to put this giant metal ring around the Earth, and it'll be like a space station. So there'd be like people living in that ring, and then there'd be people living on Earth. Interesting, right? And then there's going to be people living on Mars. Right there, that's 3 different new civilizations. That's pretty cool about space, I thought. The asteroids, I don't think we have to worry about asteroids, to be honest with you. I could be wrong, you know. I can't tell when a rock's going to be hurled at us through space. But when it comes down to it, we have so many ways to be deflecting asteroids. I really don't feel like we should worry about asteroids. Like, already I know 3 ways that they'll use a big ship and try to like get in the asteroid's orbit with it and try to direct it like slowly away from off its path, you know, away from Earth. Or what they could do is they'll actually sacrifice satellites. Like they'll park satellites right in front of it. And bam! I guess that way wasn't working that well because they don't really do that one that much. They do that what I first told you. They'll try to direct the asteroid that way. And then the third way, they actually try blowing up the asteroid. Like they'll land on the asteroid and blow it up. You know where this idea comes from? The Simpsons. Because there's and there's this one episode where they send all their garbage to space. And then like 10 years or 15 years later or something like that, it comes right back down to Earth because that's how you know, space kind of works like a boomerang. Whatever you throw up there, if you throw it straight up there, it's gonna come back straight back down, or not straight back down, but it's gonna do like a circle and come back to where it came from, like a boomerang. So that garbage ball they threw up in space was going back down to Earth, and their idea was to go up there. Oh no, that's Futurama. My bad. This wasn't Simpsons. This was Futurama. But anyways, you know, I thought it was the Simpsons because they go on there, and then Bender finds a little Bart Simpson toy, pulls it and says, "Eat my shorts." You know what Bart Simpson says, and Bender the robot takes off the shorts and starts eating them. He's like, "Huh, these don't taste that good." Thinking that was the point of the product. Funny, right? But yeah, they blew it up, and then all that garbage just still came down to Earth, but it just came down in like rain. So it wasn't the best idea to blow up an asteroid or a pile of garbage coming to Earth, because that's just going to cause smaller fragments to hit us. So like right now they got that idea with the spaceship to direct the asteroids. Also, they have this laser idea that some satellites are not like made for radio, but instead they're made for like laser beam. They're laser beams is what they are. And so if they see anything like flying towards Earth that, you know, they think shouldn't be flying towards Earth, or like an asteroid, they can shoot it with the laser beam. Laser beams. Sounds like Austin Powers, right? But yeah, it's true. Crap. Neighbor saw us recording a video and thought it would be a good idea to be a dickhead, huh? Well, that's okay because I finished up what I talked about. There's not much more to talk about space. We got Mars that could be turning into Earth too. And then, even if that don't work, if they go far enough and if they're able to travel far enough in space, right now they can't. But if they are able to someday, there's a planet out there that's just like Earth without the buildings and stuff. But it's like Earth. It has planetarium, it has water, has lava, The only thing different is it's twice the size of Earth. So that's cool of me. Imagine that place. Like, that's where giants live, if anything. If when we find out, like we found out spiders on Mars, we're gonna find out giants live on that planet, and hopefully they're good giants, not like fee fi fo fum. You try and take my planet, you're dumb. You know, not like that, like from the storybooks.